The Cancer Research Center is a private, nonprofit cancer research organization located in Columbia, Missouri. It has been an international leader in the fight against cancer since it was established in 1962. It originated on the Ellis Fischel Hospital campus. With city, state, federal, and private donations, the land west of the hospital was transformed. In 1968, the AP Green Building was completed. The adjacent J.M. Tom Alton Laboratory Building was constructed in 1975. The Cancer Research Center remained at this site until January 1988, when it purchased its current location, which is north of the Columbia Regional Hospital on Berrywood Drive.
The Cancer Research Center is a 501c3 nonprofit organization, so all donations to it are tax deductible. The other thing about the Cancer Research Center is it's not affiliated with any national organization, so all donations, no matter how big or small, have a greater impact.
One of the neat things about us being a private organization is that we're not obligated to forward any portion of a donor's gift to another entity. So 100% of the dollars that are given to the Cancer Research Center stay in Central Missouri to fund research here.
With generous financial contributions from Missouri individuals, organizations, and businesses, the Cancer Research Center is able to take part in some of the most advanced, innovative, and effective cancer research in the world. It conducts cutting-edge cancer research in its on-site laboratories.
What we are finding, and I'd like to point out that we're very excited about this, is that we're learning new ways that chromosomes become rearranged. Part of a chromosome will move to another part of the chromosome, and this is not a very healthy situation. Part of the chromosome will multiply, whereas the rest of the chromosome does not multiply. And we have a new discovery that tells us what the mechanism is for this, what we call amplification, of amplifying the chromosome. So then that's what we do in our own laboratory.
The Cancer Research Center also provides funding to some of the world's brightest scientists at the University of Missouri.
Perhaps our most important function is to jumpstart experiments, using small amounts of money to allow a person who has an idea to develop that idea experimentally, to develop some data, and then that person can take that data to National Cancer Institute, National Institutes of Health, and say, look what we have. We have something exciting here. Please give us some funds to help develop this into a major project that will help cure certain cancer problems.
You can't get funding for research unless you have previous results to show that the research is worthwhile. But you can't get previous results if you don't have money to get the previous results with.
There are scientists at the University of Missouri who will apply for funding, and we give that out in $25,000 grants. And those go to postdoctoral fellows, which really is a very efficient use of our funds in the fight against cancer because the university picks up all of the overhead. They cover benefits and a lot of costs that we get to just fund research with that $25,000.
This $25,000 is pretty significant because it would help us to gather important preliminary data on cancer research. And we can go out with these preliminary data and seek substantial amounts of funding from federal and industrial agencies. And we are talking about instances wherein we have obtained grant funding to the tune of millions of dollars.
The ability to hire a postdoctoral fellow with very short-term amounts of data, preliminary data, is a great benefit because we can generate the data that we need to seek federal funds. And in fact, the work that my postdoctoral fellow has done in this past year has been used to successfully fund a USDA grant on the role of soy in colon cancer, and we have just submitted an NIH grant to look at gene expression in colon cancer in response to dietary factors.
So when you have a new idea, you have two choices. You either don't do it because you don't have the money, or you have a local organization like CRC that can give you a little bit of startup money to get the data that you need, to get the ideas together you need to apply for much larger grants from national organizations. And that's what's great about the CRC.
Through these collaborations, a number of promising new strategies are being developed for the prevention, diagnosis, and treatment of cancer.
We can use our peptides and our antibodies that we isolate by using combinatorial chemistry to identify cancer cells and distinguish them from normal cells. We can also use our peptides and our antibodies to find out if cancer cells have metastasized to a second place in the body and where those other places might be. On the therapeutic side, we can use our targeting molecules to direct chemotherapy drugs to the cancer cells. And that would have the benefit of being able to make sure that most of the chemotherapy drug got directly to the cancer cells. We would be able to lower the dose of the chemotherapy drug if we did that, and we would also then spare the normal cells the toxic effects of the chemotherapy.
We use certain radio-labeled chemical compounds which upon injection within the human body, they go and localize around the tumor sites so that one is able to image the tumor site just like we take a photograph of an object. And in therapy, we design chemical molecules and we provide to these chemical molecules ability to go and localize selectively on tumor sites. And the idea here is that we maintain as much as possible healthy cells or healthy organs intact and try to selectively hit or selectively kill cancer cells only to maximize treatment and minimize side effects.
Well, my research team here at the University of Missouri in the Department of Food Science is interested in identifying factors in foods that influence cancer risk. And we use models of prostate cancer, breast cancer, and colon cancer and try to identify particularly the estrogenic compounds that are in foods. And right now our focus is on soy and the estrogenic compounds in soy that influence those diseases.
The research that our lab does here in the biology department at MU is focused on the problem of why tumors respond or don't respond to drugs that are used to treat them and why certain tumors become resistant to the drugs. We're also interested in using molecular biology to find ways of early detection so that tumors don't get to the point where they don't respond well to treatment.
Anything that is done in a laboratory in Columbia, Missouri will be spread throughout the world just as fast as if it were discovered at Harvard University at one of the big medical centers.
The Cancer Research Center's work is vitally important because cancer is a devastating disease. Cancer is the second leading cause of death in the U.S., with 1 out of every 4 deaths being attributed to cancer. Annually, over 500,000 Americans die of cancer, which is about 1,500 per day. Between 1950 and 1990, cancer death rates increased approximately 3%, while the rates for all other major chronic diseases decreased. It is estimated that over 9 million Americans living today have a history of cancer, with about 2.3 million new cases of cancer being diagnosed each year. What makes cancer so hard to cure is that it is actually a group of more than 100 different diseases. Normally, cells divide to produce more cells only when the body needs them. This orderly process keeps us healthy. If cells keep dividing when new cells are not needed, a mass of tissue forms. This mass of extra tissue, called a tumor, can be benign or malignant. Malignant tumors are cancer. They can invade and damage nearby tissues and organs. Cancer cells can also spread or metastasize to other parts of the body and develop new tumors. Despite the many obstacles that exist in the study of cancer, the Cancer Research Center has made significant progress.
The Cancer Research Center receives a lot of its funds from Missouri organizations, businesses, and families that want to help stop cancer.
Each of our donors, who truly are why we exist, they have their own motivation and their own passion for the fight against cancer. And thankfully, they choose to invest in their fight against cancer through us. There are 2 groups which in particular have been very generous to us, and that is the Order of the Eastern Star and the Fraternal Order of Eagles. And both of those organizations have given in excess of $600,000 each.
Many of the breakthroughs that we have made here at the Cancer Research Center during our over 40-year history are directly attributed to the support of groups like the Order of the Eastern Star and the Eagles.
Besides making financial contributions, one can help in the local battle against cancer by assisting with and attending the Cancer Research Center's special events. Its major fundraising event each year is the annual Jim Kidwell Memorial Gala. Jim Kidwell was relentless in his efforts to raise funds for the Cancer Research Center's local cancer research projects. He was honored numerous times for having sold the most tickets to the annual dinner. In 1990, Jim succumbed to cancer. In honor of his efforts, the Cancer Research Center banquet was renamed the annual Jim Kidwell Memorial Gala.
We've been blessed to have a group of very generous supporters who will annually purchase the $1,000 sponsorship to the banquet and have been doing so repeatedly for many years. And that's important to the event because it underwrites it for us and allows us to truly make a profit and make it a fundraiser so that those funds can then be turned into our laboratory and be used to fund our research.
Each year, the money raised from this event is added to the Raymond Freese Memorial Fellowship. Ray was a member of the Cancer Research Center Board of Trustees for 21 years. He worked numerous hours helping secure funding and support for various Cancer Research Center projects. Ray was especially devoted to the gala and remained active in Cancer Research Center activities until he lost his battle with cancer in 1994. The staff at the Cancer Research Center believe educating the public is an essential component to beating cancer.
We also have a community outreach program. It really only makes sense to share the knowledge that we gain through our own research, so our scientists are very eager to share that knowledge, and we'll go out and visit with civic clubs and church groups and schools and other organizations.
We also are available to set up a booth at area health fairs to help educate the public about cancer. And another thing that we do is we have a Help Us Kick Cancer soccer game that we're happy to take to children's festivals, carnivals, and fairs to help, number one, for the kids to have a lot of fun, but number two, to get the word out about the research we do and about cancer and what can be done to lessen the effects of cancer.
There is so much that we as individuals can do to prevent cancer ourselves and to just lead a healthier life, and things to look out for. Not only is nutrition important and things like that, but early detection is so important in fighting cancer because the earlier it's found, the better chance someone has at surviving.
Although the Cancer Research Center has made much progress in its war against cancer, more work is needed to completely defeat this horrible disease. Together, the Cancer Research Center and you can put an end to cancer and the devastation it causes. You can visit the Cancer Research Center's website at www.cancerresearchcenter.org to learn more about its history, services, research, and late-breaking news. The Cancer Research Center is fighting cancer, hoping you won't need to.